Hey you, and I would just like to let you know that this video is sponsored by Dashlane. I've been using Dashlane for about the past month and I have to say it is awesome. Dashlane is the password manager app, and not just that. The free version can autofill personal info, payment details, and if you get the premium version, you get contact details, notes, and a VPN with country selection for safe, secure browsing anywhere in the world. If your details are leaked on the terrifying dark web, Dashlane will let you know right away. All you need to remember is one master password and you're good to go. And it will also synchronize to all your devices. And if any of your accounts get hacked, you'll be immediately notified and it'll help sort it out and keep all your private information safe. The VPN is absolutely fantastic. I for one am really sick of those web page blocked in your country messages that you get, especially trying to research topics for videos, so say goodbye to those. Filling out payment details is a giant pain in the butt. Well, not anymore with Dashlane. And the fact that if any of my accounts get hacked, I'll be the first to know is reassuring to say the least. So head on over to dashlane.com/chapter to get Dashlane for free on your first device and all premium features also for free for the first 30 days. Then if you want to upgrade to premium permanently, use my code CHAPTER to get 10% off.
In recent days, he'd paid off his children's school fees and told neighbours he was a secret agent preparing to move to Australia. Police describe his claims as delirious.
Hey you and bienvenue, je m'appelle Mike, and in case me speaking French and the title of this video didn't give it away, we're looking at a case that's set in, well, France. It's the case of the Dupont de Ligonnès murders and disappearance. What happened was that in April of 2011, 5 members of one family were killed, murdered, and another member of the same family was missing. Or rather, he disappeared. Let's get into what happened to the Dupont de Ligonnès family. This is a bizarre one, folks. The case revolves around the Dupont de Ligonnès family who lived in the French city of Nantes. The family were pretty regular. The father, Xavier, was a businessman. The mother, Agnès, worked in a school, and they had 4 children, Benoit, Anne, Thomas, and Arthur, aged 13 to 20. The family were reported missing by friends and relatives who were getting worried on the 12th of April. And on the 19th of April, an investigation was opened. The police searched around for them but couldn't find any trace of where they went or what happened to the family. 2 days after the investigation was opened on April 21st, a wanted notice was spread all around France. They needed to find this family. They needed to know where they were and if they were still alive. However, that very same day, the police made a horrific discovery. Investigators discovered 5 human remains under the patio in the back garden of the house. The family's 2 Labrador dogs had also been killed and buried. And Xavier the father was not among them. The next day, an autopsy discovered the victims had been drugged and shot as they slept. They were shot by a .22 long rifle, a weapon Xavier had inherited from his father 3 weeks prior. The bodies had been covered in lime, which speeds up decomposition and it masks smell. They were then wrapped in burlap sacks and buried under the cement in the back garden. I think you have a pretty good idea of what happened here. Let's go back and look at what led to the murders and what became of Xavier, because that's still a question we're asking today. He was a salesman. However, what he actually sold is not that clear. He created a number of companies, ones that operated as hotel and restaurant guides, loyalty systems for restaurant guests, and others which, well, honestly, no one really knows what the point of some of his businesses were. During Xavier's final conversations with friends before he disappeared, he told friends he was a secret agent and that the family were emigrating to Australia. In the months leading up to the incident, All bank accounts were closed. The lease to the house, it was terminated. Agnès' boss received a letter that she was moving to Australia.
J'ai reçu un courrier il y a une dizaine de jours.
About 10 days ago, I got a letter from the father saying he was going to work in Australia, and so the children wouldn't be coming to school anymore.
Et donc, il retirait ses enfants de l'établissement.
Their closest friends received a letter from the parents saying we have to forget her and we should not try to call her ever again.
A message was placed on their letterbox. Please return all mail to sender. The house was emptied. Between the 26th of March and the 1st of April, Xavier visited a shooting range 4 times. Additionally, Xavier purchased a noise suppressor and even practiced with it attached to his rifle.
The inquiry has unfortunately now become a criminal investigation into kidnap and murder. We know very little. It was a family who no one really spoke about, who seemed to have been quite turned in on themselves, though the father was often away for professional reasons.
On the 1st of April, son Arthur never showed up to get his monthly paycheck at the pizzeria where he worked. He always came for his paycheck. He was 20 years old. Also that day, Xavier bought cement, a shovel and a hoe. And then the following day, he bought 4 bags of lime, each in a different store. Sunday the 3rd of April was the last time the entire family were seen. Well, actually without Arthur. They were dining at a restaurant. Where Arthur was at this time, we don't know. The next day, 2 of the children never showed up at school. Xavier later spoke with his sister, who reported everything seemed normal. Xavier was later spotted dining with son Thomas. The 2 waiters remembered Thomas feeling unwell near the end of the meal. Investigators believe that Xavier Dupont de Ligonnès murdered his wife and 3 of his children on the night of the 3rd of April, and then murdered his son Thomas on the evening of the 4th. How much the family knew what was going on, did Thomas know that the rest of his family had been killed the previous night? We don't know. Also, what's very strange is that in the days leading up to this, the family never showed for things they normally would have showed for, but they were still alive at this time. What was going on inside the house and amongst the family, it remains a mystery. Now, the day they were reportedly killed, that was according to the autopsy, but it's been disputed because other people seen members of the family in the following days. Thomas was reportedly with a friend on the 5th of April, when he had to come home as Xavier texted him his mother had been in a cycling accident. Text messages were sent from Thomas's phone later that day, and friends said he was writing in an odd way. Another person claimed to have seen wife Agnès walking her dogs on the 7th of April. During the week, neighbours heard the family dogs howling for 2 consecutive nights, and then never heard from them again. We don't know when exactly the family were killed, but it seems that by the 8th of April, the family were certainly dead. However, the bodies weren't actually found until the 21st, so it makes the time of death difficult to ascertain, especially as they were covered in lime, which would speed up decomposition. What we do know is that for some unknown reason, on the week of the 8th of April, Xavier drugged his family, and then when they were asleep, he shot them with a suppressed rifle. Whether he killed them all on the same night or on subsequent nights, we don't know. Clues from the autopsy lead police to believe that they weren't all killed on the same night. However, the people who were killed later, why they didn't raise the alarm and get out of the house and tell police what was going on is pretty terrifying. We just don't know what was happening in the house, what kind of dispute was going on. To cover up the disappearance, Xavier told their employers and co-workers they were moving to Australia. He told his family something else. Over the next few days, Xavier left Nantes and travelled to southeast France, checking into hotels under a false name. On April 11th, an unsigned letter was sent to Xavier's relatives. The letter sent by Xavier was his explanation of what was happening, and it is strange. Huge surprise. We have to leave urgently for the US due to a very particular set of circumstances that we will explain below. You're receiving this letter through classic snail mail because, for the next few years, we can't communicate any other way for safety reasons. When you read this letter, we will no longer be in France and won't be able to return for an as yet undetermined period of time, a few years. He also says, we had to give up the dogs. Luckily, someone took both of them. The only emotion Xavier revealed in his letter was directed towards the 2 Labradors. His letter takes on a very formal stance, similar to a last will and testament. In it, Xavier is very clear on who should get his family's belongings. Xavier notes that when his relatives come to take said belongings, no need to worry about the rubble and the other mess piled up in the terrace. In the letter, he says he is a key witness in a major drug trafficking trial in the US, involving gangs in Miami. He and his family are now in witness protection in the United States. On the 15th of April, he abandoned his car in Roquebrune-sur-Argens and has never been seen again. His family were found 6 days later.
Investigators believe the victims were probably shot. Neighbours can hardly believe it.
We saw the husband, about 15 days ago. He parked the car opposite the house and loaded up food bags.
A month after an international arrest warrant was issued for Xavier Dupont de Ligonnès, the warrant is still up. To date, he is still on the run 8 years later. The reason he had been so successful at evading detection while he was on the run before the police found bodies was that in 2003 he created NetSurf Concept LLC. His business partner helped clients to open foreign bank accounts and to obtain anonymous bank cards, allowing them to withdraw money anywhere in the world without leaving a trace. The same thing Xavier was doing. Over the years, many searches have been carried out, all unsuccessful. He is still on the run in France, in Europe, or maybe he escaped even further. In July 2015, a Nantes journalist received a photograph, on the back of which was a handwritten note that said, "I'm still alive." The photograph showed 2 of the children, Arthur and Benoit. It is not known who sent the picture, but we can hazard a guess. In October 2016, police were convinced Xavier had been spotted in a casino in France. However, when they swarmed, they found zip. Last year, in 2018, police raided a monastery in the town he was last seen in, after he was reportedly spotted there. Kind of funnily, the police actually had a hard time in the monastery because the monks there had taken a vow of silence. After searching the monastery, however, it was just a case of mistaken identity. Now, Xavier's mother and sister, they have theories to say the least. They say the bodies found are not of the family and that they moved to America because their safety was threatened. They don't agree with the autopsies, especially as they had been seen after they were reportedly killed, according to the autopsy, and the bodies apparently don't match the dimensions of the family. Also, they don't think Xavier could dig a hole under the patio, at least not alone. Their lawyer said, "The affair is based around the idea that Xavier killed his family before burying them. No other line of inquiry has been explored. I don't know who killed his family. Nothing about their lives helps me understand what could have led them to this situation. That is the conclusion of my clients. Since no one could have killed them, the fact is that they are not dead." Right. Xavier appeared to thoroughly plan out these murders. He closed down the bank accounts, ended the family's lease on their home, and told the children's teachers the family had to move suddenly to Australia. He warned family members in private emails that the Australian plan was a ruse, designed to hide the fact that Xavier had been working undercover in France for the US Drug Enforcement Administration, and that they were being relocated to the US Witness Protection Program. He planned out everything, yet how he never thought that the bodies would be found when they were buried right under the patio is strange. And I mean, the reason why he did this is still unknown. Why kill your whole family and then go on the run for the rest of your life? Why have these extravagant lies when you didn't even do a good job of hiding your crimes? Xavier was a businessman who owned a handful of enterprises, all of which met some measure of success over the years. However, by 2011, the family finances were looking pretty grim. His businesses were failing, and the family had accrued a debt of $60,000. Their income was less than 10% of that the year prior. In fact, within a day of his family's murder, a creditor stopped by their home to collect a $30,000 debt. The family's financial difficulties were not a secret. His immediate family helped bail him out, and Xavier received a $73,000 loan from one of his mistresses in 2009. However, to do this all for debt? $60,000 is a lot of money, but not really enough to murder your entire family and then go on the run for the rest of your life. French police have received over 900 reports of sightings over the years. The leading prosecutor of the case came to the conclusion that Xavier committed suicide long ago. They believe that the discovery of his corpse is simply a matter of time. However, I think there is a high chance he is still out there, still on the run. A never-ending fugitive. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you would like to see some more of my videos, please subscribe if you wanna, and I will see you, as always, real soon in the next video. Take care of yourselves. Mike out.